Hello gardeners, and today I thought I'd just give you a quick update of all the things I'm growing outside in my raised beds. But before I do that, I'd like to give a shout out to Mr. Chip the gardener. I won another competition, one for some seeds. So I'll open this up. Come all the way from Canada, these did. So I've got my seeds here. So they're glass gem corn seeds, I think. I've got a little letter here as well with nothing on it, but yeah, thanks a lot, Mr. Chip the gardener. I'll be planting these this year, and I'll probably plant them in with some other corn, or I might have them separate because they sometimes cross-pollinate. So great channel, feel free to check him out. Once again, I'll put another little link just here. Right then, so let's have a little look at what I've been growing outside in the raised beds. On this one here, I've got my elephant garlic, and I've got my purple early at the end here. They seem to be doing quite well. And here I've got one of my onions in a 50-litre pot. And if we start at the end here, these are all out. I'm going to repot these. I've got my fig trees. Like I said, I'm going to repot all these. They're looking a bit worse for wear. They've been in the polytunnel. And I've got my banana trees. They were in the polytunnel, but I took them out, and the winds sort of blown all the leaves and made them all tatty. I've got a little rhubarb there from last year that someone gave me. And here I've got my artichoke in another 50-litre container. And here I've got all the onions that didn't make the grade for the hydroponics. They're all outside. These are just going to be eaten onions, so hopefully they should be a good size. And here I've got my giant cabbage. I planted them cabbages a few weeks ago, and they're all, well, a few of them germinated, but half of them germinated, and then they got too hot in the polytunnel and they all just keeled over and shriveled up. I've got a little kiwi plant here, and I've got my parsnips here. A few weeds in there, but normally the parsnips grow up and block all the light out and the weeds die anyway, so I'm not overly fussed about them. And here I've got a plum tree with some tiny little plums on, and here I'll just move this. Here I've got an apple tree that I'm training along a cane, and here I've got some strawberries, and this bed at the end here, I've only just put this in, so this is going to be where I'm going to grow my corn this year. And in the polytunnel, if we take a look in the polytunnel, you will see that I have absolutely nothing growing in here. I've just been so unsure about what I was going to put in here. I've got a little fig tree there that's got to be potted up, and I've got a kiwi there, and there's a grapevine in that pot, but apart from that I have absolutely nothing growing in here. So I'm hoping that maybe I'll put some watermelons in here, maybe some giant watermelons or something in here. And if we take a look at my show parsnips, these are the Panorama. Extremely poor germination rate, extremely poor size, they're tiny little things. If we look over here at the Pacifics, you'll see that they're all pretty much brilliant condition. I couldn't argue with these at all. I couldn't fault this condition at all. And over here in the carrot bed, I had to put this glass over the top because the sparrows keep going in there and pulling up the carrots as they come through. I've got one little carrot in there somewhere. I've got a couple coming through, like here I've got this one here coming through, and here, but that's about it. So I'm going to have to re-sow them seeds. And I have a plum tree here, And I've also got a pear tree at the back here near the polytunnel, so I should get a few pears on that. And if we go this way, I've got a cherry tree here, so I should have a few cherries on that this year, but the birds will probably have all them because they normally do every year. And here I've got my plum tree, and I've got a few plums on here this year. I'm quite pleased with that. I didn't get any off there last year. So that's my plum tree. And here I've got my apricot tree, and I do have quite a lot of apricots on there this year, so I am really pleased with that. But I always seem to get a lot of apricots on this tree. And I've got an apple tree here, which really doesn't seem to be doing a lot. It's probably dead. And here I've got a peach tree, and this was the one that used to be up at the top of the garden where the raised bed was, and I moved it, and yeah, it's not doing great. And I have a pear tree here, so hopefully I should have a few pears on. I have this pear tree here, and this should be laden with pears, I hope. But the problem is it always seems to bend over. If I get too many pears on this tree, it just bends over and it can't handle it, so I've got to stake that in. And then next to it I've got a plum tree, and I don't think I've got any plums on here this year. And no, oh, there's 3 little plums there, so that's not a great one. Last year that was absolutely laden for plums. That's just how it goes with these plum trees, I think. Seems like every other year I get a good batch. And this is my nectarine tree. It's been growing now for about a year, and it's been grown in a greenhouse, and it's doing really well. Hopefully in a couple of years I should have some nectarines off it. And this tree here is my cooking apple tree, and it is ginormous. I think this year I'll have so many cooking apples off this tree. Really pleased with this tree. It was here when I moved into the house, and it's going to be here long after I leave as well. So that about wraps up my video for today. So thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, keep gardening.